we are 24 now, and we can start to finish at time in time. Okay. So good morning. Thank you for sharing this webinar. It's a pleasure to me to introduce with Keith Robert. He's a member of EO Colorado since how many years?
8 years.
8 years. So I met Keith in Machu Picchu. It wasn't a romantic trip. No. It was a Regional Leadership Academy, one of the most powerful global or regional events of EO. I learned a lot how to be a better human being and how to implement so many tools that I learned there. Talking with Keith and following you in social media and in our WhatsApp, the WhatsApp group in Regional Leadership Academy, I learned a lot about your methodology. It's the OAC journal, no? Isn't it?
Yes.
So I ask you, Keith, to give us this learning and your knowledge for the last, I think, 20 years, learning about how to implement tools and learnings to be more productive, but not only productive, instead happy, a happy person.
Yes.
So I know you are in the marketing business, but you are starting some stand-ups groups, and you are introducing in this kind of things. So it's a pleasure for me. So let's go on with your presentation and your learnings to share with us.
Thank you. Jose, did you want to mention the sponsors real quick before I start the deck?
Yeah, for sure. So before we start, we mentioned the sponsors, which are the people and companies that made possible for these events and for the chapter of Argentina to take place. Our sponsors this years are MBlue, Pani, and Rebanking. And actually, there's Alan, which is the head for sponsorships and strategic alliance here. So if everyone is interested in knowing more, you can talk with him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to share my screen. I've got a presentation prepared. Danny and Jose, thank you for that kind introduction. I'm truly honored to speak to EO Argentina today. The talk that I want to give is how to stay healthy, happy, and productive in self-isolation. All of us in the world are facing this unique challenge at this time. And I wanted to start with some perspective. I wanted to let you all know what a miracle your life is. The fact that you are sitting there in this chair on this webinar right now. And I want to think about not even the fact that we had to be on this third rock away from the sun, the right distance, circling around. I don't even want to think about the hundreds or thousands of generations that had to happen before your parents met. Let's take out of the equation the fact that there were 6 billion people on the planet when your mom and dad found each other. If all of that happened perfectly, there's still a 1 in 250 trillion chance that you exist. And that number, your mother was born with between 1 and 2 million eggs. Your father was born with 250 million sperm. So even once your mom and dad found each other, the odds that you exist are unfathomable. You've truly won the biological lottery just to be sitting in this chair. And with that in mind, I want to think about what happens, how would you feel if your last day on earth, the person that you became will meet the person you could have become? So I'll say that again. Your last day on earth, The person you became will meet the person you could have become. So my goal is that everyone that sees this presentation is looking in a mirror. We all have accomplished our full potential. And not, I don't want to compare myself to Warren Rustand or Vern Harnish or anybody else. I want to be the best version of Keith. All of us have different potential based on our given talents and our gifts. So how can we be the best version of that? Very easy that I could end up being this person, right? I could put in no work, and this is not the person I want to be looking at the end of my life. I want to be looking in a mirror. So how do we do that? The three things that we need to do right now to be taking the best care of ourselves. One is mindfulness, and we're going to talk about mindfulness and a meditation practice. The second is our health. What can we be doing at home? And that's not just your diet, but also some form of movement. And the third thing that we all need to be doing is getting enough sleep, getting 8 hours of sleep every single night. That's very challenging too, right? With everything that's going on, the stress, things that we have going on in our business. If anybody has challenges sleeping at night, I want to share a breath work with you real quick before we move on. That's going to help you with relaxation and getting back to sleep. So if I'm stressed at night, I'll find myself waking up, I go to bed at 9:30, I'll wake up at midnight, and then I'll wake up at 1:30 and 2:30, 3:30, all night long. And to calm myself down and get back to sleep, I practice what's called box breathing. Box breathing is actually what the Navy SEALs do during BUDS training. I think they have 12 hours that they're in the cold surf in San Diego on the verge of hypothermia. And box breathing is very simple. You breathe in to a count of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you hold your breath, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then hold your breath, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a 16-second breath. It's going to slow your breathing down to 4 full breaths every minute, and you will be amazed with just this simple technique how much it will help you quickly get back to sleep if you wake up in the middle of the night. The next thing that I want to share with you is Warren Rustand's 10-10-10. And this is a gift for mindfulness. So Warren Rustand, I'm sure many of you have seen him speak. Danny, I know we got to see him in Machu Picchu together. He's an EO legend, and he developed this perfect morning. It's the 10-10-10. It starts with 10 minutes of meditation, 10 minutes of reading, and then 10 minutes of journaling. Now, with a meditation, it's really any meditation. You can use an app like Calm or Harmony if you don't have a meditation practice. You can do guided meditation. If you have a meditation practice, stick with that. If you don't have a meditation practice, I'm going to give everybody the gift of transcendental meditation right now. TM is the most scientifically studied form of meditation on the planet. Over 70% of scientific studies on meditation are on transcendental meditation. And transcendental meditation is mantra-based. It's very easy. You get a mantra based on your age and your sex. If you Google TM mantras, I think there's 17 total, and you can find the correct mantra for you. Once you have your mantra, you'll close your eyes and you'll just slowly begin to think that mantra in your head. My mantra is Sharain. And based on your age, like Danny, I know you'll be Sharain as well. Many of the people that are nodding on the call, we're going to have the same mantra because we were born around the same time. So you will think this mantra in your head, Sharain, Sharain. There's no doing it wrong. You could do one mantra through an entire breath in. You could do 10 mantras out. The beautiful thing about transcendental meditation is you can't do it wrong. Just the fact that you're practicing meditation, you're doing it correctly. If you fall asleep when you're meditating, that means that your body was tired and you were meant to fall asleep. What you'll find happening as you're practicing your TM is you will get to a transcended state. You'll be thinking your mantra over and over again, and your mind will get to this transcendental state where it's at peace with itself and no other thoughts are entered. And that's really where your nervous system is starting to relax and unwind. And inevitably, a thought will enter your mind. Oh, did I set my alarm? I have that presentation for Danny at 7 a.m. tomorrow. And immediately when that thought enters my mind, as soon as I think it, I just, back to my mantra. So you sort of come out of it and you go back in. Many times your best meditations, you're actually not at that transcended state. You're constantly going in and out of thoughts, and that's what your body needed to do to unwind. The second part of the 10-10-10 is 10 minutes of reading. Now, most of us, especially EOers, we read self-help business books. We're constantly trying to sharpen the saw and get better, and I love that. Right now, I think I'm reading 3 different self-help books at the same time. Boundless, a book on mindfulness, and then a third book on the flow state. But I also try to mix in reading for pleasure. You know, some classics, Jack Kerouac I love. There's an amazing book, Where the Crawdads Sing, that just came out last year. So, you know, read something that's going to inspire you, and don't make it to where you always have to be reading a business book. I think we probably read enough business books as it is. And then the last piece is your journaling. The journaling is 10 minutes of free-flowing thought, but I want you to have positive thoughts. Imagine, and this is what Warren would always say, imagine that your grandchildren 50 years from now are going to be reading your journals. They don't want to read about how stressed you are with you know, business, and the kids are so hard to homeschool. You know, they want to read about positive things, and writing positive things is also going to benefit you. It's going to engage you mentally in a positive way. So meditation is going to help with relaxation. It's going to prepare you for the day. It's going to help get your mind ready to solve hard problems. The reading is going to inspire creative thought. It's going to help you retain information. It's going to get your mind working. And then that journaling is really going to help you with problem solving and positivity. So 10-10-10, it's 30 minutes. You know, I know Danny's been practicing this for the last year. I've been practicing it for the last 4 years. This one thing you can do is truly a life-changing thing. So if you take nothing away from this presentation, and I'm going to say that about 5 times, this is one of the things that I want you to take away from the presentation. I don't know, normally in the room, I say how many people start and end their day like this, and almost everybody in EO raises their hands. And I want you to stop doing this. Stop taking your phone or your tablet to bed at night. You don't need it as an alarm. If you use your phone as your alarm, I'm going to give you a pro tip. Put it in another room, and then when you wake up and actually walk to the other room to turn the alarm off, you're going to be awake. You're going to put your feet on the floor, you're going to start moving, and you're going to start your day. Don't hit snooze ever again. Also, the reason I chose this particular stock photograph is the blue light. There's a blue light that gets emulated from your tablet, your cell phone, or if you're one of the people that has a TV in your bedroom, the blue light actually inhibits your brain's ability to produce melatonin, which is the neurotransmitter that helps our body go to sleep. So by watching TV at night to go to sleep, you're actually prohibiting your brain from helping you go to sleep. And the other thing is, first thing in the morning, the last thing I want to do is look at CNN and see how horrifically my country is being led through this pandemic. I want to take a little time in the morning. I already know that's going to happen. I'm going to see that when I catch up with the news later in the day. I don't want to feed my brain that toxicity to start my morning. So I start with a glass of water, and then I do my 10-10-10. I've got an hour of just clarity. And then I move into solving my hardest problems. Sorry? Oh, all right. So I want everybody to set up a morning routine. I developed a journal. I think Danny has one. You don't need the journal to do this process, but I do want you to write down your morning routine. And the first thing I want you to all to do is the 10-10-10. So we know that's going to take 30 minutes. And then we're going to reverse engineer your perfect morning before you get started in the day. So I do my 10-10-10 that takes 30 minutes. And then I drink a pint of water with lemon juice to rejuvenate my cells before I start feeding coffee and other toxins back into my body. I do some morning movement, whether that's yoga or a walk or a run, and then I shower and dress for the day. I know that I have to get started by 7 a.m. I know this takes me 90 minutes, which means my alarm goes off at 5:30 and I begin my day. I would also advocate that you end your day this way. So put meditation at the end of your day, put brush and floss your teeth at the end of the day. And then what are the things that you need to do to set yourself up for success, to be rested and rejuvenated to crush your following day? The next thing I want to do, and this is one of the things, Danny, that I added, is give EO Argentina a boost to your immunity. And there's two ways we can do this. The first is my preference, and that is this gentleman right here. His name is Wim Hof. So Wim Hof is a European gentleman that has accomplished truly superhuman feats, like running a marathon in the Sahara Desert with no water, or this guy hikes mountains in just shorts and tennis shoes, exposed to snow and cold. And he's actually taken groups and proven that other people can accomplish these same feats. And he does it with three things. The first is exposure to cold. The second is a breath work. And the third is meditation. And the reason that I wanted to share Wim Hof's technique with you is the boost to his immunity. They have studied this gentleman for the past decade, and they've actually injected him as well as a group that he has taught his breath work to with toxins to see if they could give him influenza, as well as a sample group. And through doing his breath work, his group doesn't get sick. And the reason I wanted to share Wim Hof, we're all concerned. Now, this is not to replace social distancing or best practices or a cloth mask, but this is something that I do to feel better and healthier and potentially fight off any autoimmune stuff that's coming my way. So the Wim Hof breath work is, you're going to do 30 breaths in 3 cycles. The breath work is a very deep inhalation in, and then a relaxed exhalation. So you're forcing a lot of oxygen into your system, and not all of the carbon dioxide is leaving. So you do 30 of those breaths, deep, relaxed exhalation. The first time you do it, don't do it standing, don't do it in the shower, because some people do pass out the first time. But do this breath work, and before you do it, I want you to see how many push-ups can you do. Can you do 10 push-ups, 20 push-ups? Maybe you can do 25. Do the Wim Hof breath work, 30 breaths, and then after the last breath, hold your breath for as long as you can, and then do 2 more cycles. 30 breaths, hold your breath, 30 breaths, hold your breath. After that 3rd cycle, do your push-ups again. I guarantee you, you will come close to doubling the amount of push-ups you can do just because of all the oxygen that's been flooded into your system. This also has an effect, and the reason he's sitting here in ice, and they've actually studied him. There's been TED Talks where this cat will be in a thing of ice up to his neck, and doing his breath work, he can keep his core body temperature at 98.7 degrees for over 2 hours. It doesn't fall and start getting into hypothermia. And the way that he does this is through that breath work and the meditation. And when you're doing that breath work, another thing is happening in addition to that extra oxygen being pushed to your brain and to your organs. It's actually inhibiting your body's pain receptors from feeling that cold. So to start a Wim Hof, after you do the breath work a couple times in your living room and you do the push-ups exercise, and you feel confident you're not going to pass out, when you get in the shower tomorrow morning, start with your normal shower temperature, do your shower, you're warm, everything's good, you feel great, then start to do the breath work. And after you've done the breath work 30 times, turn the shower all the way as cold as it'll go and just stay in there for 1 minute and continue to do the breath work, and you will be blown away by how little you actually feel the cold, and also how much the blood is rushing through your body. So when you get out of the shower, you will be so ready to solve your hardest problems, do creative thinking. That's the time when you need to do your hardest work, first thing in the morning. Now, the other piece that you can do, this has been passed around through EO. I am not a doctor. This is not in any way meant to replace caution or social distancing, but this is a prophylaxis cocktail that I'm taking to boost my immunity. It's pretty simple, all things you can get at the Whole Foods or Amazon. It's vitamin C, zinc, melatonin, and vitamin D. Melatonin is actually what the blue light is prohibiting your brain from producing when you're looking at those. And I'll share, Danny, I'll share this keynote with you if anybody wants to get any of these. Again, this is just something I've learned from other EOers that I'm personally doing. I am not a medical doctor. I would advocate Wim Hof over this prophylaxis cocktail, but I'm personally doing them both. Next, I want to talk about finding your ikigai. I think we have a very unique opportunity right now with this time alone to be introspective. And ikigai is a Japanese word. It's actually 2 words. It means life's purpose. And if somebody finds their ikigai, it's their reason for being. The Japanese believe that this is why they have more centurions, more 100-year-old plus individuals living in their culture than anywhere else in the world. And when somebody finds their ikigai, they're not working towards retirement. They want to keep doing their life's passion their entire life. So they have this purpose and they keep going. And what's unique about ikigai is it's at the center of 4 circles: what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. And Danny, I think you mentioned earlier before the presentation, I have a creative agency. I've had this agency for 22 years. It's actually my identity. I'm Buddhist, and I named the agency Zen Man, and everybody calls me Zen Man. It's my nickname. So it's so associated with who I am. But what I'm doing right now is my ikigai. The work that I've done on the Oak Journal and the Oak Journal method, this is my life's passion. This is what fills me up. So sharing with you. And this is really hard. I mean, actually at Machu Picchu with the group I was with, Danny, I spent hours walking around Machu Picchu trying to come up with my why. And I struggled with, you know, I have this sunk equity in this business that I've worked on for 20 years, for over half of my life. How can my ikigai not be my business? But it's not. And there's a very hard challenge to sort of bridge that chasm. And what I found was my why, and it was at Machu Picchu, was through kindness, generosity, and spirituality to help others be the best version of themselves. And that has nothing to do with a creative agency that's been my livelihood my entire adult life, but that's my ikigai. That's what fills me up. That's why I can wake up at 5 in the morning. I could travel anywhere. I could do anything to present to you, because this is what fills me up. This is what gives me my life's purpose, and why I will live to be 115 years old and never stop doing this. Character. Character is the ability to carry out a good resolution after the excitement of the moment has passed. How many people make New Year's resolutions and by January 10th, they've gone out the window? I'm going to eat better. I'm going to jog every morning. I'm going to do this with my family. Character is the ability to carry out that resolution after the excitement of the moment has passed. And so we've got an exercise that I want all of you to do on building that willpower and discipline. Your willpower is no different than any other muscle in your body. It needs to be exercised to become strong. So what we're going to do for the next 30 days is a very simple task. We're going to make our bed. And there's a reason that I chose this very simple task. It's the first thing you can do in the morning. It's going to set yourself up for success. There's a great commencement speech by a Marine that talks about why they make their bed every morning, why this particular task is so essential in the military boot camp. And when you do it, you're going to do 3 things. You're going to finish that which you began, and these will carry on to everything you do during the day. The second is you're going to finish it well, beyond your expectations, no matter how long it takes. And the third is you're going to do a little bit more than you think you can. And the reason that I chose, again, the bed is there's not a whole lot of complexity. You know, you've got a sheet, a couple blankets, a couple pillows, maybe a fluff pillow. So how are you going to do this better 30 days in a row? And I would challenge any of you that want to participate, make a photo of each day, and I'll take a video and I'll share it, and I'll send anybody that does it, Danny, I'll send some oak journals down there for you to give to the group, okay? All right, another thing we're gonna do is goal setting. I'm a huge advocate of EOS, the traction system. I use that in my business as well as my personal life, and the journal methodology aligns with those 90-day goals. So we have a system, and those of you that make your bed are going to get this journal, and you'll have this system. And those of you who don't, I'll share the presentation, and you can do it in a piece of paper and notebook. You know, you don't need the journal. But we're going to set 3 goals. We're going to set 3 90-day goals. 90-day goals because as humans, we have an attention span of about 3 months. I think as entrepreneurs, we probably have an attention span of maybe 3 weeks or 3 days. So we really want to make sure we focus, you know, that character, right? The ability to finish, follow through on what we commit to. We're going to do 3 goals. And I would advocate that your 3 goals are 1 business, 1 personal, and 1 family goal. And then we're going to create a roadmap. That's what the page over on the left from the journal is. So we write down our goal. And then the roadmap is what's the strategy and prioritization? What do we need to do to accomplish this goal? What are the tasks and responsibilities? Do we need to delegate or get any additional resources? And then at the very bottom is the expected outcome. And this is a really essential step, and that's the visualization. What's it going to feel like when you accomplish this goal? And then we will talk about making sure this aligns with your daily most important things on your daily page. And what's possible if you do this? I had a bucket list. I'd always wanted to do stand-up comedy. When I was maybe 20 years old, I was at a comedy club, and at the time I had white hair. I've never had normal hair. And the comedian just needled me. He called me Q-tip. He kept making fun of me. I was the butt of every joke. And at the end of the comedy night, he actually invited me up on stage, and we had this banter back and forth. And it was an amazing experience. People were laughing. The comedy club owner came up to me and said, "You have a gift for this. You must try stand-up." And he gave me his card, said, "You know, you can do it here. I'll teach you. I'll connect you with comedians in Los Angeles." At the time, I lived in Laguna. And I immediately lost his card. I threw that away. I said, "Oh, that's terrifying. I don't want to do it." And through the amazing organization EO, last year I had a chance to do stand-up comedy. And so I used the method to come up with 15 minutes of stand-up comedy. And at the end of last year, I performed at Caroline's, which is a world famous club on Broadway in New York City. And through that preparation, this was one of the best experiences of my life. I can tell you that the first time everybody laughs at your jokes is a mind-boggling, I don't know, it was the best feeling. I don't normally share it because there's a lot of inappropriate, cannabis Colorado jokes or Burning Man jokes, but I did privately share the routine with Danny, and Danny had my permission to share it with the entire chapter. The next thing that I want to talk about is daily progress. And this is the difference between people that accomplish their goals and people that just wish. So think of this as the difference between day one and one day, right? Is today day one of what you're going to accomplish, or will you eventually do it one day? And the story that I want to share with you is about a Norwegian explorer named Roald Amundsen. Roald set out for the South Pole, and his expedition left at the same time as a British expedition led by an explorer named Robert Falcon Scott. Those of you that have read Great by Choice by Jim Collins know this story. The difference between the two expeditions was the 20-mile march. The Norwegians every day, no matter what the conditions, would pack up camp and they would try to progress 20 miles. They would try to make it 20 miles. Some days they would exceed that. Other days they would fall far short of their 20-mile goal. But the British expedition, when conditions weren't ideal, would hunker down and they would wait for the right opportunity, the right weather, the clearing to try to march 100 miles or 50 miles and make up the progress. And the difference between these two expeditions, the daily progress, no matter what the conditions are, the facing adversity and just getting out of bed and marching as far as you can, the Norwegians reached the South Pole 3.5 weeks before the British, and the British tragically perished on their return. So that daily progress in this instance was not only the difference between success, but the difference between life and death. So we're going to do that. I'm going to give you some tools to make daily progress. 3210 is one of my favorite tools. Many of us leave our inbox or our email just open all day long. And so anything that, we get a chime, we get an alert, we stop what we're doing, we break that flow state or that concentration that we're in, and we look at an alert on Twitter or read the email. So what we're going to do is 3210. So for 30 minutes, twice a day, you're going to read your emails. You're going to read each email only once, and you're going to get down to 0 in your inbox. Now, the way you're going to do this, 30 minutes. So set a timer. That's all the time you have. This is going to take some discipline, and it's probably going to take a few times before you get it. Twice a day, you're going to schedule it. So right after this call, I'm going to do email, and then I've got email scheduled at 2 o'clock this afternoon for 30 minutes. Those are the only times, that's the hour that I'm going to interrupt my day to respond to email. I'm going to read each email only once. If it's something that I can reply to quickly, I'm going to take that action. If it's something that I don't need to do or I'm going to delegate, I'm going to take that action. And third, if this is something that I need to follow up on that cannot be accomplished within my short window of 30 minutes, then I'm going to file that in a folder and I'm going to schedule time in my day to accomplish that task. I want us all to get away from the habit of using your inbox as a to-do list. This is the daily routine in the Oak Journal. And again, you don't need an Oak Journal to do this. You can do this on any piece of paper, but there's science behind this structure. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start our day with morning gratitude. So morning gratitude are the things that you are grateful for, the things that you appreciate. It could be that my children are healthy. It could be that my business is surviving even if it's not thriving through this time. What are the things that you're grateful for? And they need to be different every single day. And we're going to bookend our day. You're going to start your day and you're going to end your day with gratitude. And this is going to get you mentally in a good state. No matter what's going on in the world, I know everybody in this call has 6 things that they can be grateful for every single day. This is actually a technique they even use in Alcoholics or NA, Narcotics Anonymous, bookending your day with gratitude. Even somebody that's struggling with addiction could come up with 3 things that they're grateful for. I have this warm coat, that keeps me warm. I have a dependable car that I can get back and forth to my meetings. What are the 3 things that you're grateful for to start your day? The next thing that you're going to do is your vision for the day. And this I took directly from Benjamin Franklin. As you can see, there's a lot of R&D in my methodology, which stands for rip off and duplicate. Benjamin Franklin, every day before he put his feet on the floor, would ask himself one question. He would say, what good will I do this day? So he knew his purpose for that day before he put his feet on the floor. He would also end his day with that same question, what good did I do this day? The next thing on your daily tasks is your 3 most important things. Now, it's very easy to fill up your calendar or your tasks with busy work, right? I have to get the oil changed. I have to, pick up the kids from school. What are those little tasks? The MITs need to align with the 90-day goals that you set. So if one of your 90-day goals was make lifelong memories with my kids while they're home from school, then these need to align with that. One of those should be something that you're going to do. We're going to make a rocket today and launch it at the park with Gavin and Quinn. Your business goal should align with your business goal, and your personal goal should align with what you need to be doing for you. The next thing that you're going to see is today at a glance. I know everybody here has a calendar on your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, and many places that syncs. But I take them every morning and I write down what I'm going to accomplish that day. And instead of creating a to-do list, I actually allocate the time to accomplish those tasks. So the reason that every day my to-do list is 100% to done is I don't just create this endless list on the right-hand side of the page with check boxes that I never get to. I give myself the time in the day to accomplish those tasks. I end my day with gratitude. And then on the right-hand side of the page, I give plenty of notebook space so you can doodle anything you need. An inspirational quote that aligns very poignantly each day. It really blows me away even when I open the journal and I take the time to read that inspirational quote, how much it hits home at that time. And then at the very top, I've got a couple check boxes there. Did I do my 10-10-10? Am I tracking my habits, my morning routine, and my evening routine? When you're doing the work, especially now that we're all alone, I want you to try to get into the flow state. So when you're scheduling your time, there's a great book called The Rise of Superman. I know many of you are familiar with the flow state. The flow state is when you get to a state of focus where you are in the zone and you can solve problems easily, you do your best work, and it comes very easy to you. And the way that you're able to do this is by getting into that flow state or that zone. You cannot stay in that state indefinitely. And to get in that state, you have to be free of distraction. So this is turning off Twitter, turning off your email, nothing in the background. Willie Nelson actually does this when he wants to write a song. He will get in his truck and he'll just start driving until he writes a song. And he gets into the flow state because he's so focused on, I've got to keep the car between the lanes. Am I speeding? Just the simple task of driving a car, all of the other worries and stress and things that are in his mind fade away. And he's able to get to this flow state where he can write a song while he's driving his truck. So set yourself time, whether it's 20 minutes, 45 minutes, no more than an hour, and set a physical timer. And then after you complete your core hours, your focus time, you're going to have accomplished a lot, and then give yourself a break. Maybe it's 10 minutes where you do want to check Twitter or something more healthy, like we're going to stop and I'm going to go outside and do a meditation for 10 minutes. I'm going to do some physical activity, go for a walk, healthy snack. Give yourself these breaks throughout the day to recharge you, get ready for the next task, and then tackle it. I would advocate that during those breaks, there's always some sort of movement to get the blood flowing, to get up, to be walking around. Accountability partners. So Danny and Jose, I'm going to lean on you guys for this, but I'm going to challenge everybody that's on this call to have an accountability partner for the next 30 days. And what I'd like you to do with your accountability partner is every morning, you're going to write down the 3 things that you're grateful for, your vision for the day, and your 3 most important things, and then take a photo of that and text it to your accountability partner. And accountability partners, you're going to do the same thing, but actually read what your partner texts you. There might be a business meeting that they have and you can get them pumped up for a presentation. There might be a pitch that they're doing and you have a contact at that particular company and you can give them some insight that's going to help them win that pitch. Or maybe it's just helping them, you notice that they keep mentioning a challenge that they're having with their partner or their kids. Truly be an accountability partner for the next 30 days. And this could end up carrying well beyond that. But if you do this for 30 days, you'll be blown away by what you accomplish. And there's science behind this. How easy is it if you want to go for a jog to say, oh, it's rainy outside, it's a little, I'm tired, I'm just going to bag it and I'll go for a jog tomorrow, right? Really easy to do. But if I was playing squash with Danny and I know he's going to be at the gym at 6 a.m., I'm not going to let him down. if there's somebody else that you're disappointing, it's so much easier to follow through on your commitments. So in order to help you build that character and make your bed for the next 30 days, we're going to assign accountability partners. And Danny and Jose, will you just help me with everybody that's on the call, and then we can align them so that everyone has an accountability partner for the next 30 days.
Perfect.
For sure.
Perfect. So this is something new that I want to add, and this is a poker story. So right now, everybody is facing some unprecedented challenges in their life. And so I wanted to share a story about the 1982 World Series of Poker. There was wasn't Doyle Brunson, I'll think of his name. There's a gentleman, and he's playing poker, and he's getting late in the tournament, and he pushes all his chips into the middle during a hand. And he pushes his chips in, he ends up losing this hand. So all of his money's gone, but when he gets to stand up from the table, tucked underneath the bumper was one $500 chip. And with that one $500 chip, he ended up mounting this comeback and winning the World Series of Poker in 1982. So the saying is a chip in a chair. So all it takes is a chip in a chair. If you've got one chip left in the game and you've got a seat at the table, you are still in this tournament. So no matter how bad things are right now, if you still have a chip and you still have a chair, you are still in the game. Self-sabotage. So this is easy to do when things are amazing, and this is even more easy to do when we're challenged. So what are the things that you do that self-sabotage? I want you to think about the activities that you do, whether it's maybe it's drinking or a substance that you use for self-medication. Maybe it's a relationship that you have that's unhealthy, or maybe it's just, staying up till 2 in the morning and watching the news, right? What are you doing that's counterproductive from being your best self? So maybe think about 2 or 3 activities or a couple phrases that you say to yourself, so you can be mindful of when you're in self-sabotage mode, and you can share that with your accountability partner. You don't want to be this guy out here cutting the wrong side of the limb. What are the things that you can do to identify if you're being self-sabotaging and how you can get out of that rut? A few tools that I want to give you to get out of that rut are some positive psychology tools. These are tools that we have every week in the journal. I will share them with Danny, and he can share them with everybody. Again, shipping is hard right now to get stuff down to you all, but we will get some down later. But you don't need the journal to do these tools. The first one is the 4 7s. The 4 7s is an exercise in clarity into what's important in your life. So the 4 7s is do it at a later time because we're late. I'm going to run through this and open for questions. I see I have 15 minutes left. So the 4 7s, the first 7 is if you had 7 years left to live, I want you to write down what matters to you. What still needs to be accomplished in this life? What do you want to do? What do you want to see? What's important to you? You have 7 years left on this earth. The next is 7 months. So after you've done 7 years, we're really starting to come into focus. Now we've got 7 months left on this planet. What matters to you? What are you going to prioritize? The third 7, it's getting really hard. Now we have 7 weeks left on this planet, less than 2 months. What matters to you? Write out those bullets. And then the final bucket is 7 days. If you have 7 days left to live, what are you going to do? And what has consistently amazed me with this exercise is when people get down to the final 7s, what really matters is time with their family, quality time with their partner, having breakfast with my children every single morning. It's a beautiful thing because the things you would do if you had 7 days left to live are all the things that you have the gift to do now. You can have breakfast with your children every single day. You can do the things that matter. This exercise came from a documentary from hospice workers, from people that cared with patients, terminal patients that were at their end of their life, and the lessons that they learned from people that were facing death and what regrets did they have from what they didn't accomplish. And it was never fame or money or success in business, all the things that we strive for and spend so much time. It's the things that we could absolutely take advantage of right now in this time that we have with our families. So do the 4 7s when you have time. Next is bucket list. Actually, I don't have one of me and Danny, or I should have replaced this. This is where I met Danny. But if you don't have a bucket list, create a bucket list. Danny has seen Warren Rustan's. I've seen it a few times. Warren created his bucket list when he was 13 years old. He carries it around in a Ziploc bag, like this artifact from the Raiders of the Lost Ark. And he's checked off 98 of his 100 items that he wrote on a bucket list when he was 13 years old. The only two that Warren hasn't accomplished is to be the president of the United States, which as an American, I can tell you, I wish more than anything right now. And the second is to see every country in the world. And they've sort of moved that on him. The countries keep shifting. So he's given up on the last two. I hope he just gives up on the last one. But take the time to write your bucket list. And then once you have your bucket list created, there's another little life hack I want to give you. Pick the most important item on your bucket list. And if you're not tracking on it, for me, I want to write a book. I've created the Oak Journal, but I want to write a companion novel. So on my bathroom mirror, I have an index card that says, "Are you working on your book?" So every morning when I wake up, that's staring me in the face. That personal accountability that I wrote is asking me, are you doing the thing that you said you're going to do? Do you have character, right? And then I see it every night when I brush my teeth before I go to bed. I want to leave you with a fable of the tiger and the strawberry. So this story goes that there's a monk walking along a path, and he looks up to face a man-eating tiger. And this tiger is snarling at him, and he slowly starts to back away, and he veers off the path and quickly finds himself at the edge of a cliff. And at the edge of a cliff, there's a vine. As the tiger is approaching, he starts to scurry down this vine. And he gets about halfway down the cliff, and he notices below him, there are two tigers pacing, just waiting for him to get to the bottom. So above him, one man-eating tiger, below, two tigers. And as he's clinging to this vine for his dear life, out of a crevice on the cliff, a black mouse and a white mouse crawl into the vine, and they start pecking away at this vine that's holding him. And as he watches the white mouse and the black mouse slowly eating away at this vine, watching his very life disappear, he sees a strawberry. And it is the most ripe, beautiful strawberry he's ever seen. He plucks the strawberry off the vine into his mouth, and it is the most perfect experience of his lifetime. I believe that the moral of that story is that the white mouse is the future and that the black mouse is the past. And we spend so much of our lives focusing on the past and the future that we miss the most beautiful experience, which is the present. So, who will you be post-COVID, post-self-isolation? I think there are three buckets that we could fall in. Some people are going to merge a hunk. We're going to have discipline. We're going to work on ourselves, and we're going to be better. Some people will be a chunk. They are going to sit on the couch, and they are going to get fat. They are going to get unhealthy. And some people are going to be a drunk. So who are you going to be? I know everybody on this call will absolutely be the first. I'd love to open it up for questions.
Amazing.
Amazing. We have some questions during the speech.
Okay.
Some about if you can explain again the meaning of ikigai.
Yes. Ikigai is a Japanese word. It means life's purpose is the actual translation, but the meaning of ikigai is your reason for being. So finding your ikigai is truly finding your life's purpose. And it's a challenge. It was a challenge for me because I kept trying to associate my business with my life's purpose, and there was no correlation there. Okay, I can't translate the next one, Danny. I need you for...
No, but also Jose already answered the name of the man, Wim Hoffman. Wim Hof,
yes.
Sorry, Wim Hof.
Yes,
Carlos
go ahead.
Has
Carlos.
one question.
Yes, thank you. Thank you again for the speak. Can you share a methodology or a tool to achieve deep and fast collaborative conversation? I mean, to dissolve fears or conflicts in this time of isolation?
Yeah. Effective listening would be the tool that I would share. So I'm going to get the data wrong, but it takes the human brain, I want to say like 0.3 milliseconds to correlate a response. And most times in conversation, it's a third of that, the time between a pause in the conversation and the next person starting to speak. We're constantly waiting to just tell people what we think. instead of actually listening. So practice effective listening, just like you're doing in coaching, right? So think that you're coaching somebody from a forum presentation. You are undivided attention. You're looking in their eyes. You're not thinking about what you want to say. And I want you to practice a 3-second pause. So when you're having these conversations, before you say anything, after your partner finishes with their dialogue, I want you to first ask them, is there more? And I want you to help them keep unpacking the same way you would doing in coaching. And then before you speak, I want you to wait 3 seconds. And this is a great practice, not only for this, but even in business and your personal life, because it gives the impression, even if you know what you want to say, that I'm digesting your thoughts. I'm genuinely caring and listening, not just waiting to speak.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
About the bucket list, how many times did you remake or make again this bucket list, or did you make at first time and you have it?
So it's actually both. I've heard interesting. For me, I made it one time. And when I made my bucket list, there were things I'd already accomplished that I still put on the bucket list because I said, okay, I wanted to run with the Bulls, I'd run with the Bulls. I wanted to do stand-up, I've done it. You know, the things that I wanted to accomplish, I gave myself credit for doing. But I absolutely only did it once. Now, we have a person that's been doing the journal for 9 months, bless you. And she lost 50 pounds in the last 9 months. So she's changed her bucket list because she's now able to do things she never thought was possible with her daughter. It actually just brings me to tears to think about it. I never thought the journal, I always thought this would be start a business or be a better version of yourself. But Jennifer actually, she was always able to accomplish her business goals. And so when she got the journal after a couple, she realized she could use this to start accomplishing her personal why. And so it was being able to do the baby shark dance with her daughter. Her little girl wanted to do it, and Jennifer was so overweight she couldn't get through the 6-minute YouTube video with her daughter. And it makes me incredibly happy to say now that she's crushing that, and she's revised her bucket list of things that she never thought she would be able to physically do now that she's changed her lifestyle.
And do you share this bucket list with your partner or with your family?
Absolutely. In fact, we have a family bucket list as well. So it's, you know, my boys are 8.5 and 10. So I do try to get them to do the journal. Just getting them to do the 3 things of gratitude every morning is a nightmare, but we still go through the process of getting them to think about it. But we have a family bucket list as well that we do together.
Perfect.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So on the front of diet, what do you do in terms of ketogenic, in terms of high fat, low carb, in terms of what's your vision on all these different trends? By the way, I have my vitamins.
Well done. Yeah. I think that's very unique to everybody, and you have to find what works right for you. I have friends that have had great success from the keto diet. I think the healthiest diet is the Whole30 diet. So it's really just eating whole foods, natural foods, no preservatives for 30 days. It's a lot of work. Actually, now is probably the best time to try the Whole30 diet because the most work is the preparation of the food. It's a very, very, very healthy way to eat. You're cutting out all sugars. Sugar is the worst thing that you could put into your system. My personal practice is fasting. So 1 day a week I fast, and then I do intermittent fasting. So I won't eat anything until noon or 1 today, and then I'll have a 5 or 6 hour window that I'll consume food, and then I will not eat again until tomorrow at 1. And that also is similar to the keto diet. My body's going into ketosis because I'm doing intermittent fasting.
That's great. Do you consider breaking the fasting when you eat the lemon and the water in the morning, or you think that do not break the fast?
Correct. I think that does not break the fast.
Cool.
But water is a great gift if you're fasting to make you not feel hungry.
I think Ezequiel has another question.
Yes, one question. What advice do you have to get a better sleep because sometimes I feel like I sleep like 8 hours or 5 hours, but either way I wake up like tired, or I think that I can rest very well. In this time of quarantine that I'm more worried about my business and my life, it's like worse that. So maybe you have any advice for the...
Yeah, three things I would love for you to practice. One is have a good sleep hygiene. So what time do you go to bed every night? Do you have a consistent time that you go to sleep?
11, 12.
Yeah, it's a little bit late, but try to have consistent time. So if you go to bed at 11, go to bed at 11 every night. Your goal is to sleep till 7 a.m. every morning, okay? So if it's 11 o'clock, 90 minutes before you go to bed, so by 9:30, you need to be off technology. So no phone, no television, no computer, you're off tech, okay? From 9:30 to 11. I see your friends laughing above you in the screen here. And then the last thing that you're gonna be doing is the breath work, okay? So when you lay down, relax your body, lay on your back. I have challenges too, especially at this time. I have the same stress as you with my business and layoffs. So you do that box breathing that I mentioned earlier, the 4 breaths in, hold your breath for 4, 4 breaths out, hold your breath for 4. So try those 3 things. And I think you'll be amazed at the impact that it has on getting a better night's sleep.
Thank you.
Yes.
Can I make, yes, it's my turn?
Go ahead, Carlos.
Thank you. Well, probably it's a personal question, but have you so far achieved the best version of yourself? And how do you know, or how can you verify that you are achieving it?
Yep, that is a really easy answer. The answer is no. I think that perfection is a myth. I think that I am constantly in the pursuit of better. So I think that if you think you're there, you've failed. Because you're not going to continue to grow or excavate. So I hope that on my last day, I'm looking in a mirror, but I'm sure there's going to be something that, maybe I should have done this. So I think if you think you're there, then you've already failed. My personal view.
Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. We put on chat a link to a survey. We ask the members to mark your presentation, and I can send you the result after this survey.
Thank you.
I don't know if any else have a question. Somebody else have a question?
I'll ask one.
Okay.
Thanks, Keith, for your time. Super interesting. So my question is a little bit more philosophical. Is Keith still on the line? Okay, there we go. Yeah. Do you feel that you are doing this to be more happy or to be more fulfilled? And do you think this is actually helping you get there?
It's actually both. Yeah. So I think that if you're living your ikigai, that's your life's purpose. And so you are, the answer is yes, and it's both. And the reason that I know that I'm doing that is the energy that I have, the feeling, the passion, my agency, I have enterprise clients. I've designed websites for, airlines, for, world brands, top world brands, and it's not the same fulfillment that I get. Another reason, and this is probably easier to feel, even though the agency is successful and we have good clients and we do exceptional work, I still have challenges and stress. So my partner would say, with EO, you do so much work and you have all this passion and you never complain about the board or the effort or all the things you're doing, and you constantly bitch about the client or this employee or this. So the difference between just being successful and being fulfilled, that's, I think, the bridge that I'm sort of trying to create with the Oak method. And it was a challenge, and it was truly at Machu Picchu, Danny, that I had this revelation where I needed to make this shift, and it was so hard to disconnect myself from the sunk equity, right, that I put for 22 years into this business and building it and our reputation to saying, okay, well, that's great. That got me here, but that's not the future. Not my future.
Hey, Keith, Pablo
Hey, Pablo.
here. Can I get the next one?
Please.
How are you?
Good, my friend.
So I was I'm curious in regards to you have your personal, your professional, and your family life, right? Is there any of these practices, or what is there a practice that works best for you? This is your personal experience. Something that what works best for your personal, for your family, and for your business. Do you feel this, or is it the same for everything?
I have to be very intentional in choosing a 90-day goal for each of those. So it's planning that makes that. So like right now, my 3 goals I'll share with you. My first goal is this 90-day goals is transitioning to Oak being my full-time business. So really making that business focus and that. The second is creating lifelong experiences with my children while I'm homeschooling them. So, today after this call, I've got to go, I go to my ex-partner's house and take care of the boys all day. And instead of seeing that as a challenge or, all of the things on my to-do list that aren't done, that's my most important thing for the next 90 days. So it gives me that clarity. Warren talked about clarity of vision. So having that clarity of vision for family. And then the last is personal. So my goal is to be in the best shape of my life at the end of self-isolation. I saw somebody speak a couple years ago at GLC, and he said, if knowledge equaled results, everybody would have a 6-pack, right? We all know what it takes to live healthy. And then what made it powerful is he immediately pulled up his shirt and he was ripped. So he did the work, he did it. And so, my goal is to be mentally and physically in the best performance of my life at the end of this.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Keith. It was a awesome experience, awesome speech. Thank you for sharing with us. We recorded this session so we can share with other members in Argentina chapter, and I am sure they will love your presentation. So thank you very much. See you soon, I hope.
Yes, you will.
And keep in touch.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Keith.